Chapter 4. "Miss Frizzle," I called out, "we've got to do something." I turned around to see where the frizz was. Then I saw a big yellow copter flying towards us. It was the magic school helicopter to the rescue. The frizz flew the copter over to where Carlos was struggling in the lava. She hovered above him and then lowered down a rescue rope ladder. "Carlos," she yelled over the sound of the rotor, "untie your shoes. They're history." We all watched as Carlos reached down and untied the laces of his favorite sneakers. Then he stretched up and grabbed hold of the rope ladder. "You can do it, Carlos," Keisha yelled. Carlos pulled his feet out of his sneakers as he climbed up the ladder into the copter. "You're lucky that lava was cooling, Carlos," Ms. Frizzle said. "Fresh lava can be as hot as a furnace." That stuff wasn't so hot," Carlos said, trying to regain his cool. "It was just like being stuck in a bunch of bubble gum." "Well, from now on," Ms. Frizzle warned, "try to stay out of sticky situations, Carlos." "Just think," I said, "Carlos's sneakers are now part of the state of Hawaii." "We're lucky Carlos isn't part of the state of Hawaii," Arnold said. The frizz flew the helicopter over to safe ground and landed it. "Come on, everybody," she yelled. "Let's see Kilauea from the air." We all piled inside the magic school helicopter and strapped on our seatbelts. Carlos was fanning his feet to get them to cool off. "That was a sticky situation," he said. "I think you lost your cool, Carlos," Phoebe said. Miss Frizzle revved up the engine of the helicopter and we rose straight up into the air. Soon we were soaring above the lava fields. "Look," Ralphie said, "you can see the red lava flowing down the side of the volcano." "They call it a river of fire," I said, remembering the research I had done. Rivers of Fire by D.A. At times, Hawaiian lava flows are so steady that they look like rivers of fire. The molten rock moves in a thin stream down the volcanic mountain. It glows red hot until it slowly spreads out and cools down. Other times, a cool crust forms on the lava, forcing the river of fire into an underground lava tube. "Why doesn't the lava blast out of Kilauea?" Ralphie asked. "I thought all volcanoes blew their tops." We all looked down at the lava pumping out of Kilauea. It was fiery red, but it looked more like a quiet stream than an explosive blast. "Not all volcanoes erupt in the same way," Ms. Frizzle explained, "and Kilauea is a great example of the Hawaiian type, slow but steady." From the desk of Ms. Frizzle, spectacular Strombolians, violent Volcanians, hot Hawaiians, and phenomenal Plinians. Volcanoes erupt in different ways, from steady to spectacular. Hawaiian eruptions are quiet and slow. Thin liquid lava flows out in slow, steady, red-hot streams. Strombolian eruptions are wild and dramatic. Thick lava explodes out in separate bursts. There are loud explosions as the lava shoots into the air. Volcanian eruptions are full of large lava blocks and lava bombs. The more pasty lava plugs up the volcano's opening, causing pressure to build in the volcano. When it blows, lava, gas, rocks, and dust shoot high and far into the air. Plinian eruptions are the wildest of all. Huge blocks of thick lava explode from the top or to the sides of the volcano, forming fine ash. This cloud of ash reaches up more than 15 miles, 25 kilometers above the earth. Sometimes A burning cloud of gas and ash blasts out and races down the volcano at speeds of up to 150 miles per hour, 241 kilometers
Chapter
per
5.
hour.
After our close call in the crater, the Frizz decided we all needed to cool off for a while. She asked Jim to come along with us for a trip to the beach. He brought along snorkeling gear for everybody. "Look out at the water," he said. "What do you see?" "Water," Arnold said. "Right," Jim said with a grin. "But underneath the water is a whole other world. Put on your snorkels and face masks and follow me." Soon we were all floating on our stomachs with our heads down in the water. The snorkels let us breathe while our faces were underwater. Jim was right. It was a whole other world. We could see hundreds of beautiful fish swimming below us. They were striped and spotted in every color and every shape. The ocean floor was covered with beautiful and strange coral formations. I decided right then and there that I was going to be an oceanographer when I grew up. That's someone who studies the amazing world of the oceans. Suddenly, we saw a long green shape move toward us in the water. As soon as Jim spotted it, he motioned to us and started swimming to the shore. I didn't waste any time because I knew what was coming might be a moray eel, 6 feet of gross fish. "What was that?" Arnold asked as we climbed out of the water and took off our snorkeling gear. "Arnold, it's better that you don't know," Ralphie said, smiling. Then Ms. Frizzle said, "Let's get inside the magic school bus. There's something I want to show you." We weren't sure what the Frizz had in mind, but we all climbed on board. Jim sat beside me in the seat in front, right behind Ms. Frizzle. I thought about what he did for a living and decided that I wanted to be a volcanologist again, rather than an oceanographer. It seemed like everything I want to be ends with an ographer or an ologist. Miss Frizzle started up the magic school bus and motored on down the beach. Then, suddenly, she made a hard left turn, straight into the ocean. "Stop!" Arnold screamed as the magic school bus drove into a huge wave. The water levels started to rise around our windows, and fish came up and pressed their faces against the glass to see us. "Miss Frizzle, do you know what you're doing?" I asked nervously. "Don't worry, DA," the Frizz said. "I have it all under control." A second later, she pressed a red button on the control panel that had a picture of a submarine on it. Whew! Not a minute too soon, the magic school bus turned into the magic school sub. Soon, we were floating out into the deep ocean. Just as we caught our breath, the Frizz turned "Dynamite
the nose
explanation,
of the sub
Dorothy Ann," Jim said. I threw a glance over at Tim to see if he was impressed, but he was busy reading a book about underwater volcanic activity near the Hawaiian Islands. "Oh my gosh," I said aloud. I had almost forgotten about the tiebreaker question. What island is being formed by volcanic activity right now? I ran over to the bookshelf on the sub walls and pulled down a book about underwater volcanoes. I started to speed read like crazy. I couldn't let Tim beat me like this. Suddenly, I saw Tim jump up and run to his backpack. I just knew he had found the answer, but he couldn't find his buzzer. I kept reading, faster and faster. Just in time, I found it. I grabbed my buzzer and pressed it. But, not again, I yelled. Ms. Frizzle asked us to say our answers at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Another tie, the Frizz said. Isn't this exciting, class? You bet it is, I said, and my team is going to win. I'll believe that when I see it, Tim said smugly. Okay then, listen up, Ms. Frizzle announced. Here is the next tiebreaker question. How long does it take for molten lava to harden? What? I said. Who would know that? Ridiculous, Tim added. How could we ever find that out? Then Tim and I both grabbed for more research books to see if we could find the answer. As Ms. Frizzle guided the sub across the ocean floor, Jim talked to the rest of the kids about underwater volcanoes. I listened with one ear while I tried to read about how fast lava hardens.
So why are there so many hot spots around here? Wanda asked. The water out
From
there
Jim's
looks
volcanologist files.
Fire down below. Secrets of underwater volcanoes. Scientists believe that there may be more volcanoes underwater than on land. The most common type of underwater volcanoes are called rift volcanoes. They form when two plates are continuously pulled apart at speeds of up to about 1 inch, 2.5 centimeters per year. Magma oozes up between these plates and volcanoes are formed. Rift volcanoes are forming under the Atlantic Ocean right now. They are making the Atlantic grow 1/2 inch, 1.3
Chapter
centimeters
6.
wider per
Miss
year.
Frizzle, I yelled, you've got to do something.
I was hanging on to the sides of the magic school sub to keep from sliding across the floor. The rest of the kids were holding on to anything that seemed solid. Everybody was screaming. Yikes! This is worse than that ride we took through a tornado, Wanda said. It's even worse than traveling back to the Jurassic Age, Ralphie yelled. I think we're goners. Don't say that, I cried. I still need a chance to win the quiz bowl. Jim was hanging on to part of the sub's control panel where the frizz was desperately trying to get us away from the volcano's eruption. It didn't seem to be working. I don't think we can outrun this, Ms. Frizzle, Jim said. An underwater eruption is pretty wild. We'd better just hold on tight and try to ride it out. From Jim's volcanologist files. There she blows. Underwater eruptions. During a shallow underwater eruption, incredibly hot magma hits cold water. This makes the water turn into steam, which makes it expand. A huge amount of pressure is built up. That makes for loud explosions and huge clouds of steam. All of a sudden, the rumbling beneath us got louder. It reminded me of what I had read about Krakatoa, another volcano in the Ring of Fire. Only, I hoped we weren't in for that big of a boom. Jim, what's that noise? I called. Krakatoa, the volcano heard halfway around the world, by D.A. Krakatoa is a small volcanic island in the South Pacific. In 1883, the island made an ear-splitting eruption. It was so loud that people more than 3,000 miles, 4,828 kilometers away heard the roar. For the next 2 years, the volcanic dust filled the air in places as far away as London, England. It sounds like a major vent is blowing, Jim answered, trying to sound calm. But this was way too hot for even a volcanologist to handle. All of a sudden, the magic school sub seemed to go airborne. We squirted up out of the water on a plume of steam, and outside the window, we saw blue sky instead of blue water. But it didn't stay blue for long. Soon, there was volcanic ash. It was awesome. Around everywhere. I wished I had my camera. Here we were in the middle of a volcanic eruption, and I had no way of recording it. Whoa, Carlos yelled. I think somebody just hit the down button. Carlos was right. Suddenly, we started to fall out of the sky like a brick. Submarines, even magic school submarines, just don't fly. Kersplash! We hit the water with a smack and bobbed up and down for a while. Miss Frizzle was busy at the controls, trying to figure out how to get the sub in reverse and away from the volcano. That's when I looked out the sub window. The tip of a new volcanic island was sticking up above the ocean surface, and red-hot lava was belching out of its mouth. From Jim's volcanologist files, the tip of the volcano. New islands pop up in the Pacific Ocean because of underwater volcanic activity. The Hawaiian Islands are only the tips of an enormous undersea mountain range that rests on top of a hot spot in the Earth's mantle. "Ms. Frizzle," I yelled, "throw it in reverse. Fast!" The frizz was fast, but not fast enough. Just as the magic school sub started to shoot backward, a fiery spray of lava splattered down on top of us. It turned the sub on its end, with its nose sticking up into the air. Then the lava settled all around us, and everything went black outside. "What will we do?" Arnold cried. "When that lava hardens, we'll be part of a volcano. Forever." "DA and Tim," Carlos said, "you better figure out the tiebreaker question. Quick!"